The Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 25, verses 31 to 46. Jesus said to his disciples, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit upon his glorious throne, and all the nations will be assembled before him. And he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will place the sheep on his right, and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. A stranger, and you welcomed me. Naked, and you clothed me. Ill, and you cared for me. In prison, and you visited me.' Then the righteous will say in answer, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you ill or in prison and visit you?' And the king will say to them in reply, 'Amen, I say to you, whatever you did for one of these least brothers of mine, you did for me.' Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. A stranger, and you gave me no welcome. Naked, and you gave me no clothing. Ill and in prison, and you did not care for me.' Then they will answer and say, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or ill, or in prison, and not minister to your needs?' He will answer them, 'Amen, I say to you, what you did not do for one of these least ones, you did not do for me.' And these will go off to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life." A rather long reading of the Gospel, but about the final judgment. And here Jesus says, not in parable, but he's predicting the final judgment, what will take place. And he says, the Son of Man, which is Jesus himself, will come in his glory, the second coming. And that will be, of course, at the end of the world. And Jesus will come in glory and as a king. And he will judge all the nations. All the nations, meaning all the peoples who ever lived. You and you and you and me. And all those who lived up until this time. And the king will judge. One of the conditions is the way people followed the words of Jesus by being open and kind and forgiving, by accepting people, by extending to others the love that they have received from God and from Jesus. In other words, the way they have received Jesus' teaching. If they accepted it and lived by it, they will be saved. But if they ignored it to the very end and never repented, then they will be damned to eternal hell, the fires of hell. Frightening words, frightening thought. But Jesus is not making up stories. He's not trying to tell us something that will just make us do good actions. He's telling us exactly what is going to happen. The final judgment. The king, that is Jesus. And he comes to judge the final judgment. He's also a king in the spiritual sense of the word, king of our hearts. We want to ask him to come into our hearts, to rule our hearts, our feelings, our actions, and to lead us to eternal happiness, to heaven. So in this long gospel, we have the final judgment being portrayed, and the word king kind of stands out. And we might end this little talk by saying, Jesus, be king of my heart.